Good evening. This is the October 25th meeting of the Northwood Zoning Board of Adjustment. With me tonight is Ted Wilkinson and Betsy Colburn and myself, Pam Sanderson, as Vice Chairman. Unable to attend this evening is Justin Miller. I knew it was an M. Have it right there, too. And in order to obtain a quorum tonight, we had to request that a member come here live. So that is a request for why we are masking tonight out of courtesy. They would be unable to attend remotely because we don't constitute a quorum that could vote to accept remote attendance. So it's all protocol and procedure on that. The voting designation will be Ted Wilkinson, myself, and Betsy Coburn. And did you need a minute on something or not?
Yes, if I could, please.
Thank you.
Just a bit of an update. You do have in front of you a list that I put together relative to the status of the Jobin case, which 2 of the variances were granted last month. There is 1 additional variance request for conversion of seasonal to year-round that can be heard tonight, and there is also an appeal from RSA 674-41. There was an error made by the submittal of a wrong application, and it was noticed in error for a different variance, so we cannot hear that portion of it tonight. That portion will have to come at a later date once we receive the appropriate application and it's legally noticed.
Okay.
On the next case, we do have Ralph and Denise Andrews. As you may recall, there was testimony provided last month, but no voting. The reason the board decided that was because new information was provided at the meeting. There was a motion by Ted, which was approved at the end of the meeting, to require a deadline of all information by no later than Thursday, October 14th at 4 o'clock. The information did not come in until the following Monday. I contacted Chairman Miller, and he asked me to hold on to that information and allow the board to decide if you want to proceed with that tonight or continue it or possibly make another choice. And what that might be a meeting a few weeks out after we've had it for a couple of weeks for the members and the public to be able to look at it.
Okay.
The Pinard case is all set to go tonight with all the aspects of that listed. And there is, in your packet, there is a memo from the Conservation Commission on that. And it was handed out tonight. And the last case, Euler and Braun, on that one, and we'll extend our sincere apologies on that, but that was an error made in the public notice on that the appeal from the RSA 674-41 was not included in the public notice, although they had properly filled out that application. So the first 2 portions of that case can go forward. The last request will have to be continued to another date. So the other thing I want to bring to your attention is that I have provided the page numbers for each of the sections that you're voting on, and without copies of the zoning ordinance. Sometimes folks forget to bring it with them, so what I'm suggesting is I will include those page numbers, so while you're going through your process, you could look up the particular ordinance, and when you're done, if you leave them here, we'll put them out every month. That way you don't have to bring them back and forth. So, the only other thing I would like to remind, and I know you usually do it, but I'll bring it up, we have a lot on tonight, is because we only have 3 to ask each case the applicant whether they are willing to proceed with only 3 members.
Yes.
And thank you for your willingness to step in and chair the meeting.
Here, here.
Oh. Well, so be it. First case on my agenda is Richard and Carol Jobin, 17 North Lane, map 108, lot 46. Applicant seeks to replace existing seasonal regional residential home with a new year-round residential home and requests the following relief.
Just to move to the end, and maybe
Spread the mics out for him, or...
then maybe the camera will pick you up. And please pull the mic as close to you as you can.
And once again, I do thank you all for wearing masks. It's very kind of you.
Sir?
We couldn't do this if
We're
we
requesting
weren't
everyone wear a mask.
all set.
Right there. You got cloth or...
Yes, we are requesting, humbly requesting, one way we can hold the meeting. Linda, I'm a little confused only on your sheet here. I've got a bunch of bullet points, and I'm not sure everything matches up. So if I flounder, it's because of that seasonal to year-round conversion that we've got kind of mixed in. We got...
Okay,
So-
so I will remind the board members that the seasonal to year-round conversion
Uh-huh.
does require that all aspects of 4B are met.
Correct.
So I've identified the issues on the particular applications that would come under that they do
Okay.
not meet.
Okay, gotcha.
That you can review them as a whole. If you want to review them separately, that's up to you, or take the testimony and see how it fits as a whole package.
Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Jobin, did you have something opening to say?
Well, good evening. I just want to clarify, at the last meeting, I think we did accomplish 2 of them.
Yes.
I think it was probably 4B4 setbacks
Yes.
and 4B7B coverage.
Yes,
Okay, that's just,
I concur. Mr. Wilkinson, also? That's,
yeah,
yes.
great,
Thank
okay.
you. So, let me see. Starting at, I guess, the top of the agenda, would that be the correct place to start?
Oh, it was a good idea.
Or by your worksheet?
Please use the worksheet.
Okay, let's go by the worksheet.
Well, I mean, you should address the minutes. And
Oh, thank you, I totally forgot. And I should also address that there's but 3 of us this evening, and as Justin is not here, are you willing to go ahead with the 3 of us?
yes, I am.
Thank you. And also, backing the truck up, we do not have the minutes available this evening, so I would like to carry those over to the next meeting.
Sure.
Do I need a vote?
yes, please, table. Just table the minutes.
Table the minutes.
Okay, so moved. All right.
Yes?
Yep.
Okay. Got it. Okay, so Article 4B4, setback structures shall be set back from nope, that was already passed. As Mr. Jobin said, 4B7, B lot coverage already passed on the 27th, leading us to Article 7D, 3, expansion and conversion of seasonal to year-round, which must meet all the criteria. of, is it section 4?
Yes.
Section 4. So first up was road frontage, minimum frontage length specified in table 4-1, 150 feet, where the lot has 39 feet, and referencing page 17, which I already had highlighted, and we already have out. I'm hoping my page numbers are the same. Yes. Thank you. Any general questions, Mr. Wilkinson?
I have not, no, I'm very satisfied with the,
As we took this up in depth last meeting, I have none on the nature of this, as it is what this property is with existing building currently on it. Ms. Coburn? Mrs. Coburn?
I'm all set.
Thank you. Do I have any abutters present?
Yes.
Would you like to speak? Is our microphone on, or?
Probably has to turn it on. The portable's not there.
That might work.
Hi. Mike Jobin, Richard's cousin, neighbor, 22 North Lane. I live one lot back from Richard, and I'm just here to support Richard and Carol's project, 100% for it,
Okay.
as well as all my other neighbors. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Applicant testimony on all criteria, so I gotta go back to your original one. This gets confusing. I think you've got all of these on one application for variance, if I'm correct,
Yes.
from the previous week. And this last one was the septic. I got you. All right. So are you prepared to read?
I'm set.
Okay, a variance is requested from the article I just read. Granting this variance would not be contrary to the public interest because
The proposed development includes major improvements to the septic system, fire and safety codes, and stormwater management on the lot. These improvements are a benefit to the public, we feel.
Right. Thank you. The use is not contrary to the spirit of the ordinance because,
The upgrades proposed on the lot will be similar to and fit the characteristic of the surrounding neighborhood. And this is typical of lake lot development.
granting the variance would do substantial justice because,
The development proposed on this lot will resolve encroachments and significantly improve the septic system, fire and safety codes, and add stormwater management systems. Thus, granting a variance will benefit the public, and denying the variance may cause harm to the public.
the proposed use would not diminish surrounding property values because,
The proposed improvements on this lot will likely raise property values rather than diminish property values because the new modern structure and new water and sewage systems will add significant value to the property.
literal enforcement of the provisions of the ordinance would result in unnecessary hardship because the special conditions of this property that distinguish it from other properties in the area are as follows.
Due to the configuration of the existing non-conforming lot, redevelopment cannot be reasonably completed without relief from existing zoning requirements.
And B, owing to the special conditions of this property set forth above that distinguishes it from other properties in the area, no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purposes of the ordinance and the special application of that provision to the property because
By granting this variance, the property owners will be able to upgrade their non-compliant septic system to conform with current regulations for better sewage treatment. Updated fire and safety codes will benefit the public. Stormwater management systems will help protect the quality of the lake. Denying the variance will be detrimental to the public health and safety. And I think Peter might have mentioned to you the plan for the stormwater management.
Yes.
It's a very riprap and water tables down the side, so I think it's a pretty, we've invested quite a bit into figuring out how to do that properly and correctly to save the lake.
we do remember the riprap. The proposed use is a reasonable one because
A new house with a garage and updated sewer and water systems fit the characteristics of the surrounding neighborhood and are a reasonable use on the existing lot.
Thank you. Any additional abutter comments? Okay. We have board questions of the applicants. Mr. Wilkinson?
No further questions from me.
My question, again, we're removing all of that pavement, and so that's going to improve that area up there. It is 39.9, no, 39 feet, 39.9, so it is what it is. Ms. Cover?
I'm all set, thanks.
Thank you. Going to close public hearing on this first variance? Correct, right? We go on. I haven't done this for a while.
Not public hearing, public comment.
Public comment, okay. Closing public comment. Comment from the board.
Just that I'm very well satisfied with the answers stated for the 5 criteria. I'm confident that we can proceed with what we have.
I do. I think the answers show the need for this there. Ms. Colbert?
All set, thanks.
Thank you. Deliberation. That's kind of what we're doing. I would open for a motion.
Well, sure. Well, procedural question. There are 2 different kinds of frontages that, and he's answered both of those questions, and the lot size, I mean, they go page 17, 18, and 19. Are all 3 of those covered by this one variance that we are now proposing? I know there's going to be a separate one,
Pause to think.
but I believe that that's the case.
This is road frontage under Article 4 on behalf of Article 7D. And
And it also covers the type of frontage, that it's on a private road,
I think that's your,
and further that the lot
does
size.
that bump into the
If you
674?
approve the variance for the seasonal to year-round, you're approving everything in that section that you discussed.
So we're really not ready to vote on,
You don't need to vote individually. If
Okay.
you're satisfied
All
that
right.
it's met all of those
all right?
items that it currently does not need.
All right, so is it okay by procedure, as his answers are here, that the applicant can state for each road, the type of frontage, lot size underneath here? Does he have to reread all for each step here? and
No,
then we
I'm
would
just
vote?
saying as a whole,
Yes.
you can make that determination.
So we could vote
Here,
you could-
additional testimony.
We could vote individually on the road frontage, the private road, the lot size, or we could take them as a whole as the provision of Article 7D.
As a whole is my preference.
As a whole?
Well,
As a whole, okay. So we're also looking at the type of frontage. which, keep
on a
looking
private
back and
road.
forth, yeah. Private road which does not meet the standard in the zoning ordinance. Lot size is minimum lot size specified in table 4-1 is 2 acres, whereas this lot is .177 acres, page 19. We know it's a non-conforming lot. It has been so for a long time, but it has an existing structure. The new structure is adhering close to the footprint, as close to the footprint as can be, and is improving on the front. From the lake front, there's improvement there, and a very great improvement on the backside with the removal of all that pavement and the septic system. So I would be entertaining a motion for Article 7D3, correct? The expansion and conversion of seasonal to year-round.
Can I just do a so moved, or should I restate that?
You need a motion that goes by the criteria such as motion, yada, yada,
I move that
granting
the zoning
public
board
interest.
approve the application for a variance to Article 7D3 of our zoning ordinance.
Noting that it has met all the conditions.
Right, and having heard extensive testimony and seen the exhibits, we're satisfied that all 5 conditions have been met.
And any permits necessary are obtained that,
All necessary state,
All
local,
nec-
and
Federal, state, and local permits.
that goes kind of a disclaimer on the bottom.
yes,
but-
disclaimer on the bottom that you have to fulfill your obligations to the state and town.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Betsy.
I'll call the vote. Mr. Wilkinson?
Aye.
Ms. Anderson, yes. Ms. Coburn?
Yes.
Thank you. And I should say Ms. or Mrs. What do you prefer? Betsy? Okay. Thank you. So that motion carries, leaving us with your dreaded 67441, which we have not received and processed.
Right, so that's by doing that one, that's taking care of the frontage and the other
And
two.
when's his date to get that in by, to be on the November 22nd?
I- you know,
November 1st, please.
I think the mistake was he pulled down the wrong application. It's, the entire application is done and submitted. Unfortunately, it was done on the wrong. I have a copy of that tonight, which Linda was kind enough to give me. So we'll make sure we get it in sometime this week and get it figured out and get it ready to go. And it should basically just be the app and the actual application itself, which myself and Carol will sign, and any of the, I think the testimony that he's done is already prepared, and so we should be able to easily get it in by the 1st for you.
Got you.
And we'd really like to be on that meeting, hopefully.
right.
Hopefully finish up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Next case is case 24-4. Ralph and Denise Andrews, map 105, lot 10, 411 Bow Lake Road.
Thank you. Thank you, Linda. Thank you.
Thank you. This is a continuation from September 27th. Sure, I've got my papers in order. Gentlemen, first off, we have but 3 members tonight, which means that for a vote would have to be a unanimous decision. Do you wish to continue?
Yes.
Okay. Second issue is the requested materials not meeting the deadline. We have not seen them, so we have not had a chance to review nor look at them. So amongst us, do you wish to do it now, or do you, how do you feel about continuance?
Well, what's the nature of the additional information? I mean,
No.
I can present the new information and then make a decision.
I think that might be helpful. I mean, and I know this gets really complicated really quickly. We're obviously still dealing with the ramifications of the town's recent adoption of a way to move forward with a non-conforming lot and non-conforming buildings, and that's very helpful. But as you can tell from the last case, there are a number of interreferential variants. God, it gets complicated. And so I would like to hear where they're going with this, and then
Okay.
perhaps we could discuss among ourselves.
And Mrs. Coburn?
I agree with Ted.
You agree with Ted? All right, so we will head forth. I don't have minutes to say where we left off, but if you would like to tell us, we'll see where we can go with that.
Okay. Well, Scott Frankowitz from New Hampshire Land Consultants. At the last meeting, we ran through all the variances, gave our testimony, and then it was continued. Since that time, there was some questions about setbacks to the west, I believe it is, as you're looking at to the left. So we went back to the drawing board, and Mike Witcher adjusted the footprint, and now the building is actually better in all aspects than existing. If you have the newest floor plan that we submitted, it's in that packet that we submitted last Monday. We made everything better. I don't know if you have it in front of you, so I can talk
We
about
don't. We have not seen it.
it. Is there any way we can hand those out so they can look at them?
Sure, if they would like them.
Sure.
And if I could just clarify, when they did not meet the deadline based on the motion, and it was a motion, not a request, that it had to be in by a specific date, I contacted the chairman, and he told me to keep them, not to mail them out, based on that, and for the board to have the ability to determine tonight whether they wanted to go forward. So that's why they have not been handed out.
But within that packet, even though it seems big, it's mostly just approved permits. There was 2 outstanding permits at the last meeting, the septic design and the shoreline permit. Those since have been issued, and they're in that packet, as well as a new floor plan showing the adjustments. And I'll stand up on here and kind of show you where the adjustment was. Everything on over here is all the same, and it was in this area where this bedroom got adjusted to get further away from the property line. As you may remember, you probably have the old application. We were closer than existing in that location on the proposed. We went back to the drawing board, and now we're further away from that property line than existing, and everywhere else stayed the same, which was already further away from the property line. So the proposed structure is more conforming than existing. And that's really was the only outstanding item. On the plot plan that we submitted, we showed distances around the entire house which match up with the architectural plans. That was a request by the board.
Yes.
Madam Chair, may I ask, I don't know what information that the board members have brought tonight, but if you'd like a copy of the existing conditions or the other item is the minutes, although I had requested
Yeah,
that they be tabled because there was an issue that was on the Joven case, not on this one.
Yeah, without the
do you have
minutes. Without the minutes, it's a little tough to, I do see the additional information as requested. Sewer disposal.
We did actually make a motion. I mean, it was more than just a polite request because they had already submitted an incomplete application, and we were trying to be helpful and trying to move forward, but there were no dimensions to the setbacks that we could make sense of, and that's...
No, there was no dimensions on the house plans, but
The
the
house plan,
setbacks
yeah.
were dimensioned.
Setbacks.
So those haven't changed at all?
No.
The setbacks
And there was,
Well, the setbacks, it got better when we adjusted the house. We adjusted the house a few feet to make that setback greater than the existing structure was, which was what your request was.
that and the back line, though, did not change. the garage line there.
No. And at the end of the last meeting, it was that corner that we agreed to go back and readjust.
Okay, well, just give a, I don't want to speak out first.
My preference is to continue this, but apologies to the applicants. We made a very, very clear condition on getting the information in, and it still didn't come in. And there's an additional consideration that I think we should give to this, given the memo that we have from the Northwood Conservation Commission.
That's not this one. That's not this one.
Sorry.
I think the other thing that you had some concern with, since you don't have the meeting notes, was that the public have time to digest the application as it was, especially the fact that we're going to make an adjustment.
Yeah.
And I don't know if moving to hearing from the public, I know a lot of the public is here, that most of the neighbors are all here tonight.
Okay.
And I think at least they would like to speak, even if it does get continued, so they didn't have to come back to the next meeting.
I
don't know if
believe we
that's
have the ability to
appropriate, or-
hear the abutters.
You could, yes. You
Yeah.
don't have to vote.
We don't have to vote, but we should have the ability. They've been courteous enough to come down and participate. And I think that's wonderful.
I do want to clarify for the record, because it keeps being said we don't have the notes. The minutes are completed. There was an issue on a portion of it, not on your case. So the minutes were tabled till that portion could be corrected.
All I meant is that they don't have the notes, that's all.
Yeah, that's, and,
Yeah, they received them.
Oh, they do, oh, okay.
They did receive
Oh,
them. I don't think they're in print tonight, but they did receive them.
that's all I meant.
Linda? I don't have the memo from the Conservation Committee.
that's on a
It
different
doesn't,
case.
Different case. It's not, it should be in the file that you received.
Yeah, I don't want time to adjust this. So let me see. We've done a brief summary from the applicant. We've talked some general questions, and we certainly can hear from the abutters. So if you'd like to speak, you can either take that mic and turn it on and stand and speak and perhaps sing, or you could hold on to the heavier mic. It is your choice. Please state your name, where you live.
I'm Joe King and my wife Judy are here tonight. We're at 412 Bow Lake Road, and we are both 100% in favor of this project. The current structure is a decrepit old camp and really needs to be torn down.
So location to right side, left side, or rear building?
Across the street.
Across the street. Thank you.
Hey, good evening. Thanks for having us. Joe Simeti, 415 Bill Lake Road. My wife Carol. If you're facing the house, I'm immediately to the right.
Okay.
And as Joe King said, the house has been an eyesore for the 20 years that I've lived there. Now you have great people that want to do some great things with it. I think we should allow them to do that. And we pay for a view, right? My view out to the lake is great. When I go up my deck, I have to look at that house every single day. So we're 100% for it. I think we should get this done and move forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Alicia Fix, 407 Boat Lake Road. If you're looking at the property, I'm the abutter to the left. This is my aunt and uncle's project. My husband and I couldn't be more supportive of the beautiful home that they're looking to create. I think we need to take a step back, or I ask you all to take a step back tonight, and because of a little bit of disorganization, they have to start this project. This is going to be their forever home. I am the abutter, as is Joe, that is most impacted by this, and we could not be more supportive. So if it's a concern, that we have any issue with it, we are really pleading with you to do what you need to do, even if it takes a little more time tonight to get through this process. You have all the taxpayers here supporting this family and this project. So I'm happy to answer any questions, but I think we should take some time and move forward.
Nicely done. Any other butters present? Yeah, well, right there. Okay, so let me see. I think at this point, the only reason that we would be perhaps discussing a continuance is the arrival of the materials and wanting to do the right thing. And because the seasonal to year-round conversion involves complete look at all of that Article 7D, which brings us back to Article 4, which means it's a lot more detail. It's the process. And so that is the only thing. And as we're dealing with a non-conforming lot, and with the criteria, I think everything you have going for you is going great. I think it's going great. I think you're making efforts definitely to address issues from the board from last meeting, although I don't have all that in front of me. But I would like some time. I'm not sure. Mr. Wilkinson, how do you feel?
Well, yeah, I like the project. I'm very much persuaded by the compelling testimony from the abutters. It's really helpful to hear what people who actually live there think. It really contextualizes this whole project. So
Yes, it helps.
I'm quite certain that in the end we will approve it. But whether that happens right now tonight, I'm not sure. I think since we have taken testimony on this application already, I believe we could proceed and vote on, start to vote on the variance.
We could, but again, we have not looked through these. Yes, ma'am.
Just a thought is that the testimony you took was on different numbers for the structure.
Right.
So really you should be looking at the current numbers and going through your variance based on that, not
Correct.
on previous numbers.
Correct. So we've got a little bit of homework to do on this.
Unfortunately, I concede that we do.
And not to hold up a project that is important to you. That would not be the purpose. Mrs. Coburn, what's your ideas?
I concur with you two.
All right. So I'd be open to entertaining a motion to continue. We've had a time to digest the material.
Can we continue to time and date, sir? I mean, like the next scheduled, or
Or we could do something sooner, perhaps, if the board
As
is
soon as
willing.
you, obviously, as soon as you can do it. The only dimension that changes, so we can focus on it, is that one dimension on that one side.
Is the
Everything else is exactly the same as it was.
Isn't the building itself a little bit?
yeah, you did change
The building is different, but the one dimension is the only thing that changed from the setback.
on the calendar. There is there another Monday available?
I believe the 8th is. I know the 1st is already taken. The 8th? The 8th is the second. 8th is open.
Good.
Eight is what, 2 weeks? Is that a good, suitable date for you?
Right.
And a suitable date for you?
Yep.
Okay.
Can I just make one point that's
Yes.
been brought up? Well, I guess the home has always been a year-round.
Yeah, we're not looking for a year-round conversion here.
We did submit that variance application for a year-round.
Well, we actually don't need it.
Is there evidence that the home was converted
They're dead now. Joe, no, on the tax roll.
Yes, we have the code
in
and
the
all of that.
I
property?
don't know what the tax roll
That it meets the
It had a heating system, it had a septic system. It was
we'd have to check
occupiable.
We'd have to
Records.
look into
Yeah.
that. The building inspector would have to make a determination.
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
Whether
on
it's
the tax roll.
classified
As
seasonal.
far as I know, it hasn't been used as a year-round residence.
Yeah.
Pardon? Do you live in their house?
Till he died.
Yes.
When did he die?
No.
But he was living there full-time, year-round, up to 2 years ago when he passed away, and then that's when the purchase happened.
Well, it has to do with two things, use and whether it was legally
Occupiable.
occupied by, and upgraded to handle year-round residency.
And I think that requires a heat system, a septic, and a portable water system.
I'm not going to answer that, that's up to the building inspector to determine whether it's year-round.
Would it say it on the map, the assessor's map?
No.
Like that? No?
No, it's a determination made by looking at the information in the property file
Okay, so,
and
so if that is true, we would just need confirmation of that.
We may be able
And that
to,
would
we may
streamline.
not need that if it proves out to be that way. We filed the application anyway, knowing that if it was needed, we would do it. But I didn't know if it would help tonight in maybe moving things forward.
At the moment, no.
Okay.
But it's something that can be looked into,
something that could be looked into.
something could be looked into. We've kind of settled on a date, 2 weeks is November 8th. And would you like to entertain a motion?
Well, I'd be happy to present a motion that the zoning board continue case 21-4, the Andrews application, to a newly scheduled meeting on November the 8th.
November the 8th.
I second that.
Thank you. How do you vote?
Yes.
I will vote yes.
Yes.
Thank you. So November 8th, in the meantime, we will find out about that year-round occupancy. It's not we don't believe you, it's just,
No, I
yeah,
understand.
that's a new one.
That'd be through the building department.
Building inspector?
The building inspector would be the one to make that determination, I think.
Pretty much, yes.
So at this time, you have everything that you need from us, and if not, Linda can reach out to me and we can provide you with whatever else you may need.
It would streamline, or would it change some of the, because it still has the road frontage, so when you're putting a new structure on, so would it necessarily streamline?
That's its frontage.
Would eliminate one of the variances, I believe.
I'm just wondering if it will add one,
Well,
because you're on a
Are you
non.
tearing the existing structure down
Yes,
or replacing it?
yes.
You'd have lot size and road frontage.
Which is the second variance that we're asking, non-conforming lot size. Lot size and frontage is on there.
That's under the
That's what I'm saying. If
conversion.
you pull if you withdraw the conversion one, then you'll have two other variances that'll need to replace it.
Well, there's one on here, one's are already requesting a non-conforming lot, and it says lot size and frontage right after it. So that would cover that.
Where are you looking?
Where are
On
you
the
looking?
actual agenda,
Okay, we're going to that.
This is the current information.
the agenda says the
I don't know
variance
what
from,
agenda you're looking at.
The one that was just-
Well, it may be incorrect. If you could
was on
just,
the
that's a current, lot size and frontage, actually, they may be noted on this incorrectly.
Yes, it is.
Those items come underneath
Stay with
the conversion.
Then we'll just stay with the
It
conversion.
might be simpler with the conversion, because then everything can be a whole, as opposed to having separate variants.
And if we're coming back, we might as well stay with the conversion that's on the
yeah.
request.
we can leave it to, in order to withdraw your seasonal, that would be up to you, and if you decided that you wanted to pursue the building inspector, that would be up to you, if you know.
I think it's easier just to leave it the way it was applied and.
Okay.
It's an easier process
Yeah, I agree.
because you've already got a structure there.
Yep.
Once you go the other route, it's as if you end up with a lot, you're starting over again.
Understood. Yep.
Right. And that's a really good point, because, you know, if you're doing a tear down. And
Every
it's
time
not-
something
yeah,
seems
you're-
easier, right?
Yeah. That's one of the fortunate things about having a building on a lot, is that you've got that ability. So we are continued to, we voted, correct? We are continued to November 11th.
8.
8.
And the other advantage too that might be helpful is you will have a complete set of minutes
Thank you.
sent out to you in the next day or so.
We will-
And then you can review that and have all that information.
And we will go over the packet thoroughly. We'll get clarity between all our information here from from sheet to sheet. That will help.
Thank you.
So thank you, and to your butters, I think you're wonderful to come out for your neighbor, and that's kind of what it's all about. Much appreciated.
And that testimony will be on the record for the application.
All right, so we've still got a continuance or he's coming on November 22nd. He's coming on the 8th, so we just got to remember we got a meeting on the 8th.
Okay.
All right, and Linda, let Justin know if there's a meeting on the 8th, or is he recused? He did not vote on any of this, so
Oh, no, he can come.
he
to
can
the
attend this.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
no, we'll inform him.
Thank you. Next up is,
We'll do that one.
woohoo, here we go, page 2. Case 21-6. Is it Jean or Jean Bernard? I'll go with Jean Bernard. 26 Newman Drive, map 125, lot 14. Applicant is proposing to replace a carport and porch with a new garage and deck and is requesting the following relief. We have a variance from Article 4, B, 1, B, and C, road frontage, type frontage. The lot is located on a private road, page 18, okay. Length of frontage where 150 is required. Lot has 100 feet. Variance from Article 4B2, lot size. Lot has .29 acres, where 2 acres are required. A variance from Article 4A4A, wetland setback, deck 9.1 feet, stairs 5.9, garage 8.5, to be placed within the 20-foot setback. Did Betsy get her memo from the conservation? Thank you.
No?
Notes. Gotcha. Okay. I just got to find your case now. There you are. Mr. Pernard, would you like to give us a brief summary of what you're doing here?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Could you please just check with him to make sure he's comfortable going forward with...
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, Mr. Pernard. There's only 3 of us here tonight. There's usually 4. Okay, all right. And this was basically the garage and the change of the front porch, am I correct?
Uh,
Septic system also?
No, there's no change to the septic system.
I'm sorry, a little louder, please.
There's no change to the septic system,
Okay,
okay? It's a, there's a couple things not right here on this. Replace the carport and, the front porch is going to move a little, but the garage and a deck in the back, garage in the front and a deck in the back off the sunroom. The other thing that's wrong with this, it's not 6A, 4A setbacks. It's same as the other ones, 4B, 4B setbacks. So my sheet has it right, I don't know what. Maybe it's just a typo on it.
Let me look for a second, okay? So I've got Article 4B, 1B, and C, road frontage, type of frontage, private road, and I've got the length of frontage. I've got there Article 4B2, lot size, .29, or 2 acres, and I've got Article 4A, 4A, wetland setbacks. And it says deck 9.1, and you said what?
Well, the agenda says 7.A, 4A setbacks, and it's 4B, 4B setbacks. That's not the right article number.
He's questioning the article.
The article number on the agenda, it could be wrong. It's a typo or something.
Setbacks, because you're within the 20 feet of wetland, so,
Unless there's a different article that I didn't know of, that they changed, because that's not what I submitted. That's all I'm saying.
so we're on
I didn't submit that.
4A for setbacks, construction, alteration of terrain, wetland conservation.
The setback, my understanding was,
My application is 4B4.
well, then that's only for boundary lines, not wetlands.
4B2. See, he's talking about
If
the
you're
one-
looking for a setback from,
Oh, okay, so somebody updated it for wetlands.
pardon?
Then you updated it for wetlands, but
Correct.
from what I read, 4B, 4B is for wetlands.
I got
It's
4B.
6A, 4B.
Okay.
Frontage, length of frontage, structure lies within 50 feet of frontage. I didn't understand that one, because that one had for multiple units on the same lot, and I did have a question on that, on the building denial permit, 4B.
It could be both, I don't know. Is it encroaching greater than what it was?
It would be, the garage would be in the back, the porch on the front,
The porch is not is further away. The porch is not encroaching. Just the garage.
existing house.
The deck on the back is close.
So this is not a new structure that you're building.
The garage is and the deck is.
So this is the existing building, and you're expanding the porch by a dimension I can't see there.
The deck on the back or the porch on the front?
I'm confused with this. Bear with us, folks. Because I do have a note here saying existing failed septic system. So I'm wondering if that's old. Was that
not me.
replaced?
What?
Was that replaced? Because it does say.
No, I have an approved, I have a thing that says my septic system is fine.
Because this one says it's failed. That's just a drawing.
Who
But
said
that could be older.
That's not from me. Well, that could be,
Lucas Pond, existing two-bedroom year-round house, existing failed septic system.
that's probably 1995.
Has it been replaced since then?
It was replaced in 95.
It was replaced in 95, I got you.
I have a certified septic plan right here.
Okay.
And I actually submitted one with the application. Yeah, it was filled before 95. 9/11/95 was the new one.
Okay, all right. Yeah, on one of the denials, it had said about 2 homes on 1 lot, so I was getting confused on that. Or 2 buildings or living space in 1 lot.
Yeah, there's nothing, as far as I know, there's no changes to the actual living space. This is just
Right.
The living space, the 3-season porch in the back is going to become part of the living space.
oh,
All right, that's living space. That porch that extends it out into the front. So you've got that lake shore setback. You got quite a bundle going here, huh, Ted?
the enclosed porch, is that enclosed now?
No.
Yes.
yeah. But you're extending it,
No, I'm putting a deck next to it.
so you're putting another deck out there.
The only thing I'm doing to that is leveling the floor and opening the wall. And putting heat. Right now, it's got 2x6 walls, it's all insulated. You know, it has storm windows instead of regular windows.
Can't quite see this. And the carport's gone already.
The carport is removed to take a tree down.
I gotcha.
That was just recently. There's a dead ash next to the driveway.
And where did I
70
just
foot
see
tall.
That blueprint thingy. Right, leaching area, new garage. The garage is awful close to the leach area. And that stream.
Yeah, DES all approved this plan. And they're responsible for the wetlands.
The garage have any living area in it?
No,
No. No bathroom, anything like that? No second floor?
no. There's mitigation for the roof on the garage around the border of the house, and additional mitigation or improvements to the drainage around the house, which DES approved. And that's on the Meridian plan.
Did I read so many of these? Chief. The garage is attached, or intended to be attached to the
Going to
house?
be attached, yeah.
So, road frontage, lot size. Yes.
Did you want me color coded? Shows the setbacks and the wetland buffer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the updated, did you get the updated plan?
9121 is what this
What's the
is.
date on your?
9/1/21, yes.
Yeah.
I don't think that was the date of the update, though. I think it was 9/17 when we did it.
Could I look at it or?
Sure. Oh, you made copies. This one has all the lines.
All information is good. And one more over here for Mrs. Coburn. slide it through the window there or hand it to Linda. She can do it.
I can do it.
There we go.
Thanks.
All right, I got you. Litchfield septic. 20-foot building setback. Now. Any general questions from the board? We've been asking them already, but formally.
Not yet, nothing specific, no.
Yeah.
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
one thing I would like to know, we each have a copy of the memo from the Conservation
I
Commission.
do, and I should read that into the record.
When you
Good
get to
idea.
that point, but one thing I would bring to your attention, typically when someone seeks relief under the zoning ordinance, if there is a special exception, that is the first course of relief that someone would seek. A variance typically has a higher standard that has to be met. The special exception has criteria within it that would allow that by the zoning board. Should they be able to provide that information, they must grant it if they meet that items that are listed in the zoning ordinance. I would suggest you ask the applicant why they didn't seek the other approach as opposed to a variance.
Okay. Special exception was just explained as a different level of criteria to meet. Just, I will ask the question whether you tried to pursue a special exception as opposed to going into variance.
I know nothing about a special exception, so I didn't do that.
Okay?
Well, a special exception is a lot, it basically says that what he's asking for is allowed if he meets that criteria.
Right. However, it's a small, non-conforming lot with that wetland setback and request to build a new structure, an addition is what you're kind of asking for, that is well into the wetland zone.
Well, one main difference is that by going to the special exception, it does require the applicant to meet with the Conservation Commission to go over potential ways that, you know, the impact could be less.
Sure. It kind of sounds like they did talk with the
No.
conservation,
No,
no?
what the Conservation Commission is doing now is designating one or two people within their commission to review any plans.
New things, plans going on? Wow.
So they didn't as a whole
Wow. Okay. They did not as a whole
review.
go into
But
that.
nonetheless, you can still go forward with the variance, I believe.
It's what he has submitted and what is before us. To back the truck up now would be a delay. We can't just shift over to a special exception without all the forms and all of that, I don't believe.
That's correct, but again, it is allowed to do it under the zoning ordinance if you need that. That's all
Yeah.
I'm explaining. If
Okay.
there was an appeal, it would be sent back to be heard as a special exception.
Right. So if it was an appeal. Okay. Other general questions. The private road, you got a culvert out there that currently is woefully need of change. Are you a member of a road association?
Yeah, it's a kind of basic road association, yeah.
So it's nothing formal?
It's semi-formal.
Uh,
Matt handles it.
Are you
Matt.
contributing to it? As
for-
far as, because I know the culvert, I think,
We're plowing the road, and we're supposed to, we are supposed to update that culvert.
right,
going
and
to
I
contribute
guess it
to
just
that.
needs some work there, because the water flow
Yeah, it's terrible.
that comes down through there does actually go over the road.
Yes,
It's
it does.
evident how wide it gets.
It goes down my driveway, and I'm
Yeah, and the
I'm going to
nature...
resolve that with this garage.
Yeah, and so that's a really big question, is you're putting a structure into a tight fit, and you're actually extending beyond the house line, more into that wetland setback, and...
Actually, the carport slanted more towards the wetland than the garage will.
Yeah, and I have no evidence because it's gone, so... I
It's
can't-
gone, but
Yeah, I can't help on that one, but...
the driveway, that's where the driveway went, but the driveway's going to move.
That is a consideration, that the water flow, like you got, quite a deep trench next to you. And I was noticing a large, like, concrete slab that looked to be something that was placed as a retaining.
Well,
uh,
yeah, that
to
was
keep
all
the-
filled in, yeah.
Yeah, as far as
Some point.
washout and that type of thing, and putting a structure right there. I'm all for, improving these existing structures and all, but I am wondering about that positioning next to that trench, and
Well-
also the culvert, whether, when and the culvert's got to be done, and because water flowing through there, and boy, you could get wet.
Well, no, it won't, because it'll be better, and it won't be. The plans from, I'm sure they're in there someplace, but the approval for DES shows the mitigation plans alongside the garage that will prevent any of those problems. I don't know where they are. It's in here.
DES has specific criteria that they're looking at relative to the shoreline improvement.
Right, so they looked at
We
shoreline.
have different criteria to look at for the zoning,
Right, I'm looking at,
and the town has adopted a 20-foot buffer.
it is 20 feet. 20 feet is 20 feet, and you're 8.5 in the least,
Yeah,
and 13.4,
that's where the existing driveway is, yes.
yeah, 8.5. Now, that's the punch out to the house, because you do have an extension from the house. You're over a little, you're further than the house, so
Yes.
we can't, the house is the house.
2 feet, yes.
But the new structure is...
The new structure is alongside the existing driveway, which is out from the house.
Right.
It doesn't show on here whether that existing driveway
You see at the
is
base,
impervious or pervious.
it's, yeah,
It's
Impervious.
gravel, correct?
no,
It's paved?
it's paved all the way down to like 6 feet from the house.
I got you, okay. And,
You see that line going to the stairs?
yes, I do.
That's the driveway, paved. Paved driveway. It goes alongside the garage.
So, impervious.
Yep.
A little more to it than I thought. Betsy, you want to see this big one? just going to call a couple pictures to refresh my memory. Nope. All right, so I see your tree removal. It. And so the wetland, the DES, was more of that runoff towards the lake. And Google Earth shows quite a bit of silt and washout going down into the lake, courtesy of this stream that rolls through alongside you.
Right.
And a very wide swath that does come over the road.
Right, that's a culvert problem.
Right, and that
Somebody replaced the culvert like 10 years ago.
is a small, like,
And put a 6-inch pipe
Yeah.
in there.
I was surprised when I saw that.
That's not correct, yes.
Yeah, that'll never do it, so.
I told him that when he did it, too.
So you do have a punch out by a foot or two from the house line, which puts you further into that wetland.
Yeah, but not really further than the driveway.
Do we look at a driveway as an existing structure?
No, but it's impervious area.
Impervious doesn't help because it's more coverage of the lot.
Right.
All right, so
I don't know if you can find the meridian plan, which is small in your case.
yeah, it's very small.
But if you look on here for DES, you have the adjustments for water runoff around the garage and such. Improvements around the garage and the house to mitigate any runoff issue from the driveway or the garage. And they,
Yeah, I think I would like to take a look at that large one.
and DES is responsible for wetland and shoreline.
Shoreline. I'll pass that up to you.
There's the existing and the new.
Driveway over there. Betsy, did you want to see the big plan for clarity? Okay, we've done some general questions. Okay to move on to abutters? Are there any abutters present who would like to speak? Okay. Okay, applicant testimony on all criteria. How are we going to do these? One by one? So, does he need like a 67441 on this or not?
Even though it's a private road, yeah. I'm exempt from
the 67441, which is a release of liability to the town. So Article 4B, 1B, and C. So that in my paperwork is the second one. It looks like you have the same answers on all questions, am I correct? Nope, you got a little bit different there. So I'm on 4B, 1B, and C, road frontage, type of frontage.
Yeah, 100-foot.
Okay, so I'm going to read my bold print, and so this is facts supporting this request. It says granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest because
Existing lot previously approved by town, no additional property frontage available to purchase.
the use is not contrary to the spirit of the ordinance because
No changes to existing driveway entrance and property frontage.
granting the variance would do substantial justice because
All lot line setbacks are met.
the proposed use would not diminish the surrounding property values because
It will be consistent with other neighborhood properties and improve the value.
literal enforcement of the provisions of the ordinance would result in an unnecessary hardship because the special conditions of this property that distinguish it from other properties in the area are as follows.
By approving the variance, it will allow replacement of a carport and improve the deck that is more consistent surrounding property.
Okay, and owing to the special conditions of this property set forth that distinguish it from other properties in the area, no fair and substantial relationship exists, thank you for correcting the typo, between the general public purposes of the ordinance and the specific application of that provision to the property because
All the lots in the area are similar size and use. New garage will be set further back from road than the carport currently is.
the proposed use is reasonable one because
Carport has been there since 2004 and has caused no issues. The new deck allows owner more enjoyable use of the backyard.
Okay, so lot size, and type, road frontage and type of frontage. So, Mr. Wilkinson, any input on this art of, variance?
No. Small, no.
Okay, I have no issues on, road frontage and, type of frontage, because it is what it is with existing structure upon it. It's already there. Ms. Coburn, any comments on this? This would be just the first one, the road frontage and type of frontage, private road. Okay. Any other questions? Any butters present? No. Any other board questions for this particular variance? All right, I'll close public hearing.
Public comment.
Comment, excuse me, public. Oh, you know why it says hearing? Public comment. Forgive me, public. Board deliberations.
It is what it is.
Is what it is. I entertain a motion.
Sure. I move that the zoning board approve the application for a variance from Article 4B, 1B, and C, covering both the length of road frontage and the type of frontage, satisfied with the answers as given to the 5 criteria.
Yeah, in fact, he has 100 feet, so it's pretty good, actually. Second?
I'll second it.
Second, thank you, by Betsy. Ted, how do you vote?
Yes.
Me, I will vote yes. Betsy?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Variance from Article 4B to lot size. Lot has .29 acres, where 2 acres are required. I believe 4B2 matches your first application here. Your answers are different, so I will reread again. Facts supporting this request, granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest because
Existing metal carport will be replaced by garage, improving property values and aesthetics. An improved deck will be consistent with surrounding properties.
Okay. The use is not contrary to the spirit of the ordinance because
Permitted carport from 2004 has existed there since 2004. Total impervious coverage is only 22%.
okay. Granting the variance would do substantial justice because it will allow owner to secure and protect vehicles and property. Oops, I'm sorry, I read your part.
Correct.
Happens in church too, it's awful. Granting the variance would do substantial justice because
It will allow owner to secure and protect vehicles and property.
the proposed use would not diminish surrounding property values because
It will be consistent with other neighborhood properties and improve value.
literal enforcement of the provisions of the ordinance would result in an unnecessary hardship because special conditions of this property that distinguish it from other properties in the area are as follows.
By approving the variance, it will allow replacement of carport with more secure and usable garage and improved deck that is consistent with surrounding property.
Owing to the special conditions of the property set forth above that distinguish it from other properties in the area, no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purposes of the ordinance and the specific application of that provision to the property because
All the lots in the area have similar lot frontage.
the proposed use is reasonable one because
Replacing permitted carport with garage and deck allows owners of more enjoyable use of the backyard.
okay. That's the part I didn't understand there. So this has to do, so board comments?
Nothing specific on that. I'm just wondering why in the last few months nobody has opted for 5B under answering the criteria.
We had one that answered both, so.
Well, some of them do answer, but it says very helpfully, use A or B, and it's in caps and it's underlined.
Yeah, it does. It does. So we're looking at this .29. So did you have any other comments at the moment on this? I have a memo from the Northwood Conservation Commission. So this is, well, I could actually read it from the next one, the setbacks. Yeah. So I will not read that yet. I'll keep you in suspense. My only comment on this is the carport's gone, so I didn't have any ability to look at the idea or the concept of replacing the carport with the garage.
It shows.
Oh, I see it there in the picture. So it actually does go up further.
Yeah, it's on the marine.
Can you show that back?
Does Betsy still have it?
No, he has it back.
Betsy wants to see the picture too. No, it's gonna go closer to the stream. I got your carport. I just, yeah. Coming in. Okay, gotcha. All right.
Did you submit any drawings, like a profile of the garage, or to the building inspector?
I submitted plans, but
It's the basic garage, no second floor. You already answered that.
I did ask about second floor or living space or bathroom or anything like that. He said no.
Actually, a small roof.
Two-car?
Yeah, well, it's a single door, two-car.
Okay. I do have a letter here from email that I should probably read in from so doors. It's a sharp drop off right there. Pass that up to Betsy. So this is email communication between Carol Manter, she's land use. Carol's
No, she is,
the title now.
she works with the building department and the board of selectmen.
So administrative assistant, okay, and to Chief Tetro of Northwood Fire Department, and his response was, my concerns with adding a garage is the proximity to other buildings on or off the property. Since the lot is so small, I suspect any additional structures would present at least as a hazard. And also from Ms. Manter to Glenn Drollett, the Chief of Police, and Mr. Drollett responds that he has no concerns. You have any issues with Mr. Bernard adding a garage to his property? And Chief had no concerns on that. So I will read that in for the lot size. Any other comments? And
I don't have a copy of that.
it was in the packet. You mean I got something you didn't have? Oh my goodness.
It's probably in there, it's supposed to.
All right, so board questions. Any other questions for the applicant on lot size? And I haven't forgotten yet.
So what is the size of the garage? I see two different sizes here.
Ooh,
Well,
okay.
that's just probably an older plan. It's, that's not what I submitted, it's 20 by 26.
20 by 26.
Yeah, originally I wanted 22, but I knew I couldn't get that.
So 20 by
20 wide.
26.
By 26 long.
It's an odd size.
Yeah. A little longer than usual.
Which question? The additional use.
What does the actual building permit request say?
The actual building.
20 by,
We got two denials on here, so.
what does the building permit say?
Yeah, I don't have that. Road frontage, lot size. Yeah, I do not have that. I questioned Linda on the denial, where it says length of frontage, and then it went into minimum frontage for two-family residential development shall be 150 feet, and multifamily residential development. I question that's not applicable here, because this is a single family. You down below?
150 per.
Yeah, it's 150, but this brought up that if you have multifamily, it's 50 additional feet for each additional unit. And I did not think this was multifamily, so. That's all I have.
It's got to be January if it was October 4th. I think he just copied and pasted the section.
Oh, bad boy.
You know how that works.
Yeah, been there, done that. Okay, so any other discussion or questions? That was a very good question. All right, I will close public comment.
Well done.
Okay, deliberations.
Well, the lot size is what the lot size is. I don't have particular concerns about that, or trying to accommodate some of these existing buildings on existing lots. And so that particular one, I'm okay with.
And for me, or would you like to go?
I'll walk you.
Okay, for me, it's tough because we've been holding the line on these undersized lots to one structure. So this addition, and I want to think of it as an addition, as opposed to a separate structure, does kind of get into a gray area of overbuilding on an undersized lot. So I'm
Yeah, but it's not covering any, it's not over covering the lot.
Well, it
It's
has
only
to-
22% of the lot impervious.
You're right. It has to do not with the impervious nature of the land, but it has to do with the amount of space usage, and that's why I was very specific with you about the use of the garage, because that would have brought it into a whole new spectrum. You know, as long as it is a garage.
Not living space. It's
As
just-
long as it is a garage, and it appears, in my eyes, attached to the house, it makes it an addition to the house.
Sure.
So for me, I can leap that gray area of a secondary structure.
Is it really an addition to the house, though? To get
Yeah,
steps in
that's the
here?
question. That's why it's gray.
It doesn't look like it to me.
You said it is attached to the house, or, and
Yeah,
it's
the
got a
back
doorway,
wall.
direct doorway into the house.
Right.
So then why do we have that line across there by the steps?
That's the existing house line, I think. I mean, there's a wall there, and I think there's some room next to the
But
house
that's the
door.
driveway line, by the steps. Yeah, that line going across is the driveway line. Existing driveway line.
So that's going to be pulled back, right, because
Right.
does that make sense?
That black line in front of the steps going towards the wall of the garage by the brook, that's the driveway line, current driveway, asphalt. That's the asphalt line.
So it's
Yes.
being hooked to the house and the steps are going away?
The steps are moving over. This drawing by New Hampshire Land Consultants didn't put the new steps in. He just drew the garage in blue for the setbacks. That's what he did. And he didn't put the steps, he didn't move the steps over.
Well, won't the steps line with the doorway?
The steps will move north.
They're
On
going
the outside of that blue line, that's the garage. Right now, on his drawing, I'm sorry, but the steps are the existing steps, and they're inside the garage. Although there's going to be a couple of steps there to get into that door, into the house. So they kind of belong there too, but there won't be that many steps.
I see what you're saying,
And
yeah.
they'll be turned the other way. That's why the garage is 26, so we have room for the steps and such.
So the blue line is the garage.
The blue line's a garage.
That black line coming off the bottom of the step is just where the existing driveway is.
The Meridian plans are better in that aspect, as far as what's going to be there.
And
How many
Linda, you were
vehicles are going to be in
suggest-
here?
Well, I was only going to mention that this is potentially suggested, if the members have concerns as to how that garage will look or fit on that lot, or maybe I misunderstood that. Did Chief Petro express concerns on it?
He did, his concern was, let me go back to it, specific, was my concerns with adding a garage is the proximity to other buildings on or off the property. Since the lot is so small, I suspect any additional structures would present a hazard.
Well, one of the purposes of setbacks, as you know from the regulation, is firefighting, air and light between buildings. and
Room to go around.
Access to, fire equipment,
Right.
that type of
It
thing.
meets the property setbacks, though.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
You said it meets the property setbacks, it doesn't meet the wetland one there.
Right.
I,
have concern about, one thing you can do is you could continue and request, plan to have a site walk, or even individuals, and just go out and ask them to put 4 stakes where that's going to be, if that would.
That would be kinda helpful.
For both this one and the next one.
to be like exactly where that corner, those corners of the garage would be in regards to that wet area there. That would be helpful. What do you think?
It's where the driveway is.
I'd very much like to do that. I don't know if this is another problem on the New Hampshire Land Consultant's plan, but you've said repeatedly that 20 by 26 are the dimensions of the proposed garage, and this one says 20 by 26.8.
Or the .8.
26.8.
Well, that's because the foundation goes back to line up with the foundation of the house. So there's 8 inches that go back. It actually, that corner goes 26 feet, 8 inches, because the foundation doesn't stop in front of the house. It stops 8 inches behind the front of the house. So it lines up with the foundation on the house. You know what I mean?
That's not what this shows, it sticks out.
I think we have some gray areas.
He's talking about coming into the house, not the side of the
The
house.
26 feet.
Yeah. I see that little notch you're talking
The
about.
foundation
but
is
he's
8
talking
inches
about the-
thick, so it goes alongside the house to match to get against the house foundation.
Right.
It's got to sit on the house foundation.
So it's got to abut against the house
So
foundation.
it's only that corner that, it's the wall that's 8 inches back.
Right, so the walls get,
The garage is still 26 because it doesn't go back further than the house.
I think
a site walk
Madam Chair?
window that you suggested would be with whom? With, I don't know if we need to set up a site walk, like a time to actually go there as a group. I think, stakes being put out would help with the exact positioning. That would be a boon, particularly to looking at that water area and really having a grip on, what's happening there. And also, your meridian plan or your, the plan you had that showed your drainage and all, to have a look at that would be helpful.
Yeah, but I agree that it doesn't have to be an organized. I mean, we already have the permission to enter the property to look and see what's happening. And so,
And we actually kind of do have the meridian. It's
And the
just,
meridian plan
it's
there is
just of a size that we can't,
Yeah.
I can't see it.
right.
That's a little bit of the problem there is
Pam?
wicked tiny.
I think there's some gray areas here that a
Yep.
site walk is warranted. You also cannot see the back deck from the road.
Right.
And with the carport gone, it's hard to figure where that was
It
before,
was.
other than on paper. And we got some dimensions here that aren't consistent.
Right. I did walk around the building, so did see what was down front there, but it might warrant that. So we are in the midst of the second variance, which is the lot size. So the question would be to, it doesn't look like at this point with the three of us that we're ready to move forward on a vote. Am I reading the board correctly?
What's the concern with the lot size?
for me, the lot size is what it is. much more problematic is going to be the next variance request having to do with the wetland setbacks. But it does tie back into the plans as presented, and it's difficult to get a real
And the
sense
size.
of what's going on. So I very much would like to see the corner stakes for the new garage.
And that does have to do with the size, because the positioning and the size of the lot, and it would feed into the next set of questions we would have about that wetland. So actually having the stakes out, is that something that's doable?
Well, the corner stake, one corner stake is in the middle of the driveway, well, is in the driveway, asphalt. So I'd have to spray paint the asphalt or something.
Is that okay?
Sure, it's gonna come out anyways,
Because, just,
Him?
if ever.
If he uses chalk to make a mark where that was,
It ain't gonna
but I,
last.
I
Chalk
think,
will last.
chalk won't work with the rain,
no, but
but,
are we going to do a
a
sidewalk?
little dot of paint, you don't have to put a big, like, arrow.
I don't care, it'll go away eventually.
Yeah, well, not only that, but you're going to be tearing up that asphalt
Well, if you approve it, yes.
over there. Yeah, anyway, so if you're not, some calcium chloride over the winter, it'd be gone. So what would you like to do? Motion to continue, motion to take on this variance, or?
For me, I'd like to see more information on both of them.
More information. Ted was saying not a formal site walk, but something where we could go out and just see those lines, the corners. I think the corners would give us a big, really good help there. And since you're doing something on the front with the porch, maybe some corner stakes out there that would show us where that living room, that outcropping would be. You're keeping the existing porch, enclosed porch, or are you changing that out completely?
The back porch?
Yeah, the back
enclosed
porch, you're keeping part of it, or
Well,
you keep,
yeah, that's basically going to be implemented into the house.
okay.
The house, the wall's gonna be open and a structural beam and so forth.
That really isn't under the purview of the zoning board.
That front water,
Porch
no?
You could do regardless.
That's not in the shoreline, no?
No.
Well, it's outside of 20 feet all the way around the back.
Okay.
It's only that section he's
It's only it's only the garage, right?
Only the deck in the back.
It's only the section of the deck that's being built?
Correct.
Right, that's the post I wanted to see.
There's a small porch,
itself.
there's a porch in the front, small
Right.
porch in the front, probably 4 by 8 or 10, I think it's 8 now. And and there's a deck in the back, an 8 by 12-ish deck.
But that's
Whatever.
staying, right?
No, the
No.
deck is new.
Okay.
If you look at the
The deck,
Hampshire Land Consultants, you can see the color-coded one that I gave you.
this is the 3-season pool.
That's not there right now, or it is there? That's there.
That's there, it's just this wall is coming
Okay.
out, and that's gonna open up.
So that's not changing. It's this other section.
This deck right here is
Right.
being added.
So that's the post, whatever's,
There's a deck behind it. There's actually a small deck with stairs going this.
and you're taking that out of there? Oh, that's my color one. There it is.
What's staying, what's going, what's being added?
This section in the middle, and I can tell.
Yeah,
That's the existing 3-season pool.
yeah,
That's staying, it's just opening up to the living.
okay. And the other deck is there now?
And there's no deck here. There's a deck back here where the door used to be, and the stairs go down here.
So he's going to be putting a deck on the side?
It's not a deck, it's like a 4x4 to get out of the door. And then there's stairs going down here, on the back of the house.
Oh, but that's going.
That's going away.
It's not showing, well, it says stairs
It's on the meridian.
That's going to be replaced by that new deck?
and then the stairs, which are in the wetland buffer. Those are the
Right.
ones that-
Those are the ones I want to know.
The enclosed porch, you can do whatever you want.
Right, so we're in agreement on that. That it's the new portion. I want to know where the stake is on that for the wetland to walk it and look at it.
So, yeah, the front porch?
Back
And
on the
corner of
water
the
side.
back porch, yeah.
Water side.
That can be,
The out front there by the garage, that little porch thing there, that's not anywhere near anything. Yeah, it's that new deck on the back side, and you've got steps that are going to, I don't know, one map has stairs. I guess those stairs are being removed and the blue stairs are being added. Oh, so over here, this area here.
yeah, that's all new, that's all new.
Yeah, so I need to see just some stakes on that. Stakes on the garage, particularly there. If it's on the driveway, then just a dot there that we can go, oh, okay, it's here. And if you're able to put a stake on the other corner, that way we can go, okay, I see, it's a straight line, it goes from here to here. That would be helpful. Did you have any things you'd like to see?
Well, no, that will cover it. Something that
Yeah. All right, and so that would be, we're halfway through, we've done the reading, so for the minutes, we've done the readings on the second variance, Article 4B, 2B lot size, 0.29 acres. So we had done the readings, we had closed public comment, we'd gone back out and talked to the owner again. And so now we can either move forward or we can continue and go look at that site again.
Well, I make a motion that the zoning board continue case number 21-6 to the next scheduled meeting, which now is November the 8th. And that will give us time to go out on
That's
site.
the 2-week one, or you want to go to the 11th? I mean, the 22nd.
I just assume move on and deal with
Okay.
this. I'd like to do
All right.
the 8th.
The 22nd, right?
He said
next
the
meeting.
8th. Next official meeting is the 22nd, but if you want to put it in with the other one.
Well, since we have now established an additional meeting time, and in order to move this stuff forward, I think it makes
Clean the
sense.
plate so the 22nd is more free.
Remember what I asked the applicant? which-
Applicant, what would you prefer, November 8th or the 22nd?
They're all Mondays?
They are all Mondays.
It doesn't matter to me. I'm not doing this year, so.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor for November 8th.
Correct.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it, but I have a question for Linda. Do we have any other new cases after the one that's already here for the 22nd?
We will have the re-notice,
Andrews?
no, it was an Andrews, let's see.
So where I'm going with this,
Jobin.
if we meet on the
We'll have
8th,
the re-notice Jobin
Right?
on the 22nd, and any new ones that come in. And these folks here, we have to re-notice theirs because of an error of the town, so
We can hear it
you may
tonight.
want to ask, no, we can't.
We can't hear
We have
it.
to re-notice it.
Oh, my goodness.
Enough time, Susan? I was going to say, you might want to ask them, because that was the town's error, if they would prefer one meeting or the other, where this gentleman doesn't. Will we be able to re-notice theirs for the 8th? Oh, yes. Right.
Because it's, yeah.
I would like to do the 8th, actually.
8th? Jumping right in there.
Yeah.
Motion on the floor.
Motion on the floor, so any other comments? How do you vote?
Yes.
I vote yes.
Yes?
Yes. All right, so, Mr. Bernard, you are continued to the 8th and tasked with staking and dabbing, a little bit of paint.
Would the board like any additional information or comments from the zoning board, or are you all set with that?
From the zoning board?
I'm sorry.
Or
did I say
from
zoning
the
board,
applicant?
From the conservation, or any other information?
I gotta find that slip because we did not get to read it. I would like, just a clarity, that they are, whether they're talking about the shoreline or whether they're talking about that side, stream, that wetland setback there. So, I'm not sure that,
I think you're talking about the impact to the wetland buffer.
right, that's that whole thing there, yeah.
I intend to consult with one or two members.
Yeah, I would ask them if
Not
they'd like
formally.
to submit a more detailed,
Oh, no, we're meeting before the 8th, so
okay?
we can ask.
So the 8th, just to see, a little more on that, because that does look to be a major flow through that area, and just a little more opinion on that wetland there.
Okay, I could ask them. Any additional-
Well, any information helps always.
And I also will check on the building permit application, because that will need to match whatever it is you've got on here for a number.
The 20 by 26.
Is that what,
20 by 26.
20 by 26,
26 feet, 8 inches.
final answer?
8 inches.
Oh, it's 26.8?
Yeah, 26 feet, 8 inches.
Well, here's a drawing, yeah.
All right, so you are carried through to the 8th, and you're,
I guess I've been moved. I can't ask any questions on the final one,
on the,
on the variance for the setbacks. Is there anything I need to provide besides what we're doing?
the stakes are really what's going to be important, the exact positioning
Okay.
in regard to that wetland setback, and which also has to do with lot size. So I'm going to call a break for five minutes, and you gentlemen will be getting ready. So, Mr. Bernard, thank you. We'll see you on the 8th. Everybody just bailed on me, so I figured I better call that break. Yeah. So you can,
I don't think so. No, you got your big meridian back? Yeah. Did you want that from, a copy of that?
it's helpful to see the bigger one, but is there any way we could get a bigger copy of that?
Let's see if I can get a copy. Drop it off.
Okay.
When do you want
Or
the,
bring it to the meeting. even.
Bring it to the meeting, it's fine,
when do you
yeah.
want a stake cut?
When do,
Stakes, when do you want that done? I don't live there.
I won't be going,
Tonight with a flashlight.
yeah, with a flashlight. I'll be going out this weekend. I can't speak for the other two, but I will probably go out this weekend, or the weekend after that at the best. So it doesn't have to be, for me, the next day or two. But I will tell the other people that I said by the weekend. Did that work?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
I'll go this way.
Yeah, so I would get it done by Friday
There
afternoon.
were stakes there at one time.
I saw some here and there, and I was not clear on what they were, so, yeah.
Okay.
But I know
Thank you.
they have to send out a notice.
Yeah, thank you for I was like, how come the booklet looks like my booklet? And then I thought maybe that something had changed, but it hasn't. So.
No, well, so you bring yours back and forth?
I do, I carry mine with me like a Bible.
Okay,
So
well,
yours was yours clipped together, or was that mine?
Mine was put together.
Okay, that one's yours then.
I'll have some here.
Yeah.
If the board doesn't have them.
Because I think I've got the PDF on the computer, which I didn't bring, and I've got my copy here, which I annotate. So, he asked about how soon we wanted those stakes out, and I said that I would not be out there until the weekend, and you guys are both in the bathroom, so I asked him to, to get it done by Friday afternoon or something.
That would work just fine.
So forgive me, I cannot talk to you yet, other than to say hi.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you for masking. I'm kind of hating them myself. My mask broke just as I
dear.
sat down. So the church ladies make all the masks,
Okay.
and they make them out of like heavy-duty tarp. They're like 3 layers thick. I got lungs the size of Kansas. I swear to God, it's like. So we'll be with you just a second. I told Mr. Pinard, or he asked how soon we wanted the stakes in, and I said I couldn't get out there before the weekend for myself, so I told him by Friday if he could get the stakes and marks in, so they should be here there by next weekend. All right, so we are back live. Case 21-7, David Euler and Richard Braun, 216 Long Pond Road, map 207, lot 32. Applicant is proposing to convert a seasonal home to year-round and is requesting the following relief: a variance from Article 4B4, structure setbacks. The minimum setback for structures is 20 feet. The applicant is proposing 10 feet 11 inches from the road and lot line. The variance from Article 7D, expansion and conversion of seasonal dwelling lot size and frontage, which encompasses Article 4, which would be road frontage. It's supposed to be 150 feet. You have 61 feet. Type of frontage, you're on a private road, and lot size. Minimum lot size is 2 acres, where this lot has 0.29 acres. You do have an existing structure already upon the property, seasonal, and I'm going to ask Linda, what happened that we need to... Is it just the 674-41, or can we move forth with their...
You can move forward with the variance.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to start with Article, he does have a 674 here, but that's the one that has to be addressed to the public?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Subject property, there we are. So I'm looking at Article 4B4, structure setbacks. And I got the septic tank. 10 feet 11 inches from the road, is that the septic tank?
You should know that.
Can't be the house, because you're well up.
This is Kevin, my installer.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the house is well up from the road, so it must be the septic tank. Again, this paper doesn't have the article.
Yeah, so he issued me a denial based off, because I already have my building permit on file.
Okay, gotcha. Your septic system because of road frontage, lot size, setbacks.
Right.
I gotcha. And then the secondary thing is the seasonal to year-round. So I am looking at, I'm going to ask you questions. Hey, why don't you give me a brief summary of the project?
Well, right now, I'm just bringing it up to conformity, the seasonal house as it is right now. So I'm replacing insulation, the windows have been replaced, the siding's already been done, the well has been installed inside on the property. The last thing is pretty much the septic that I'm having to deal with. But I'm not expanding the existing footprint itself. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Thank you. Has Betsy got one?
Blew these up.
Oh, that's excellent.
In your packet, but I couldn't find anything in my.
Yeah, this helps. So hold on 1 second, please.
Yep.
Okay, I got you the bylaws. So yeah, it is your leach field or whatever that looks to be way down front there.
Right.
Nothing else is changing. Existing well way up back, and again, you got that narrow lot, which again, from the old subdivisions, it is what it is as far as length. You get tremendous side length. That's awesome. Any questions from the board for the gentleman?
Not yet. This is very helpful to see this.
Any preliminary questions, Betsy?
No, so the existing septic's actually in the back of the property, but because of the new property on the right side of it, I wouldn't meet the state's parameters as far as code, so I have to put it in the front.
That existing septic that you see to the right of his property is actually for the property across the street.
They have two separate lots, the property across the street. So they have the leach field on the left side of my property, and then they have the tank on their own property. Yeah. Like I said, the building that was put on next to the house was actually their well is right next to my well. Right.
But we've got a 75-foot radius, right?
Yeah, so in the drawing, you can see two 75-foot radiuses. One's from my well and one's from the neighbors.
Which also forces that septic out to
Or the septic goes to the road. I saw a lot of boulders and stuff there.
Yes.
It's not ledge there, is it? It's just the boulders?
No, I piled those up to try to make a rock wall, because when we put the well in, there was a lot of boulders. We were digging the trench over, and so I had a bobcat, and I just moved to make the rock come down. I originally already went through all this 13 years ago when I bought the property. They told me that I had to come to two meetings, actually. I got a septic design, and I also got the leach field design. They told me I could use what was there until it failed. I never used the property, and somehow somebody, bypassed that. So I don't really understand why I'm here, for the second time.
Wow.
Well, the reason for that is because it's being converted from seasonal to year-round. and-
Well, that's what I was believing was happening, because I wasn't going to put all this money into something that was going to be seasonal. I wouldn't have spent all that money to do this.
How long ago? Wasn't with me, because that would have been must have been
I
long.
talked to a lady in the land use in the building department, and she basically told me that, she doesn't remember it. And it's like, you got to have...
The previous septic design was actually approved by the Board of Selectmen, and that was back in 2009.
And they told me before I could get an original building permit back in 2013, that I had to go and get the septic design and do a perk test and get all that done, just in case the system failed. Well, the system was never used, so it never failed. And now we're going back through this, because this is the information I gave him because he bought the property off me.
Right.
I'm still holding the paperwork on it, but, you know, it kind of makes me look like a liar, which really irritates me, because, you know, when I tell somebody something, you know, it's the truth.
Right,
And then we're back here again.
right. But you're back here with nice people that are listening.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
And then the building inspector, you know, it's like a bit of a revolving door around here. I get, you know, one answer from one building inspector, then,
we've
you
had
know,
several.
another
We
answer from
started
another one.
pre-pandemic here, so it was like, you guys were within like a transition of building inspectors, so Jared's the third inspector that I've actually been dealing with, which has been great. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, Jared has been awesome. But the previous inspectors have, you know what I mean, I don't know if they were as informed on the property as they should have been, but there are, like, the property on the right side was built after the fact.
Right.
And the septic that was installed after the fact of that property. So were variances approved for theirs?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of where I'm questioning.
right. I couldn't tell you on that, but
Right, because
I would
then that's
assume
pretty much
if they're
making that lot
undersized-
non-conforming itself. That's, you know what I mean?
I would assume that people are doing the right thing, but I can't always say faithfully that people everywhere, whether it's in bureaucracy or whether it's in people
Right.
that aren't even bothering to get a permit, but I do know you're doing the right thing.
Yep.
So even though you've had hoops to leap through, it's okay, all
Yeah,
right?
yeah, no,
And
I'm getting
unfortunately,
there.
we do have that one more hoop where we have to renotice on the 67441, which if we get through this would be a formality.
Okay.
As you have your association papers and
Yes, I do.
the corporation, I assume you're in on that.
Yes, so my other question was, I know you were questioning about a culvert, but
Yep.
most of the houses on that association do not have a culvert for their driveways.
No, that wasn't a culvert on the driveway. That was
Okay.
that was a big honking culvert
Okay,
across the
okay.
road. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. No. This was not a driveway culvert.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be like building inspector or something
Right.
on that. No, this was like the whole road and flooding and that kind
Okay.
of thing. Yeah, no, totally different. So when I looked at the property, existing driveway, where you've driven in with boulder moving and the leach field or the septic system, that's not going to be a second driveway. That's just a work area?
That existing driveway would be where I would be entering the property to.
Yeah, so this one here, so over here where your septic is,
Yes.
that's not going to be a drive, that's just where you're
No, that
working.
would just be the leach field itself. It would be finished grass, and then it would slope back down.
Okay,
into
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Any other questions?
Not at the moment, thank you.
Mrs. Coburn, any other general questions? Okay, thank you. So there are no abutters present at this time, and we've received no letters or anything of that. Let me see, we've got the testimony all read, we've done board questions to the applicant. I will close public comment. Oh, I did not ask about 3 people, but that is important. The chairman is not here tonight. Normally
I'm
there's
okay
4, there should really be 5. There's only 3 of us, which would mean a unanimous vote to pass.
Right. I'm okay with it.
So we are looking at Article 4B4. Structure setbacks, minimum setback for structures 20 feet. Applicant is proposing 10 feet 11 inches from the road and lot line. And entertain a motion, and we can do comments. Actually, I don't need to do the motion, we can do the deliberations.
And if the 5 questions have been asked and answered?
They have been?
Okay.
I believe so. No, we haven't. It's late, I am sorry.
It's okay, no problem.
So I'm going to ask you for your questions here. And I'll be asking where it says facts supporting this, and you'll be reading your answers. You can deviate if you improvise,
Yes,
ad lib.
I'll improvise because I didn't bring my copy with me. It's in a separate file.
Yeah.
I can let you borrow your copy if you
I'd like that if you can.
That would be easy. If you don't have your speech ready, this is the way to do it. Yes. Well, you can see me, I do too, and then I get lost.
I got one, Linda.
Want to use Ted's? Use Ted's, there you go.
He's good.
All right. So, facts supporting this request. Number one, granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest because
Other houses have been converted from a seasonal to year-round home in the neighborhood. I'm fixing a lot of neglected issues that has been ignored. The neighborhood should understand they would benefit from fixing this house.
Okay, and I should preface this, it starts off with septic tank year-round use, upgrade from 5-gallon to 1250-gallon, and home conversion seasonal to year-round. So all of these questions are answering those issues.
Yes.
Just for those people listening. The use is not contrary to the spirit of the ordinance because
Because the 500-gallon tank does not meet the minimum code for year-round conversion. Other house lots and wells and septics are at state's code, and new septic needs to be, to make the property habitable and live-in condition.
Thank you. Granting the variance would do substantial justice because
I'd be able to live in it year-round and be able to enjoy living in such a nice area and comfortable raising kids in Northwood.
Number 4, the proposed use would not diminish surrounding property values because
I would be converting the house from a seasonal tax rate to a year-round use rate and upgrading the house with higher code standards than a seasonal house.
And number 5, we've got special conditions. This property to distinguish it from another property are as following, and then we went over to A. Owing to the special conditions of the property set forth above, you want an ad lib on just special condition, just something on the blank lines before number 1. So you have to kind of,
Oh, for the unnecessary hardship?
yes. Yes, he did. Tax code and all that, he said that.
Okay.
Yep. My question, Linda, was on number 5. Special conditions is blank.
Provided or it's incomplete.
He doesn't, does he have to have something there, or can he ad lib, or does he just go over to section A?
You can do either one, A or B.
So he's, okay, all right, you're going to do A. Section 1. No fair or substantial relationship exists between the general public purposes of the ordinance and the special application of that provision to the property because
Other homes have been converted from seasonal use to year-round residences. This one has not.
Okay. All right. I will close public.
No, we're gonna get an answer to I underneath, where it says NA, not applicable, or
I
no
didn't
answer?
have, I didn't have.
I put no answer because I didn't know how I could possibly state that.
Well, I don't know how much I can prompt you on that. Yeah, I can't. I can, sometimes we able to, so part II, I will read. The proposed use is a reasonable one because, and
Is this what I'm proposing for a conversion, or is this what the
why would
town
this be reasonable?
Okay.
To rephrase the question, why is this reasonable? Why is this a reasonable?
Because I know other properties of similar size lots and size footprint of their house has been converted, to year-round use.
Footprint,
Yes.
okay, the size and footprint, okay. So, we can run with that.
Are we on setbacks or year round?
Well, we're on setbacks.
We're on setbacks.
That's what I thought. Okay.
He has only one set of questions and answers here. Okay, so good. We're all together now? We're on setbacks, so.
We're on setbacks, yeah.
Board deliver, I close public comment.
I want to leave that open for just a second if you'd like.
Okay.
I would suggest to the board that if, well, I won't say another word, just go ahead.
You can't do that.
I will only advise you that there are certain things that are not considered valid answers under state law.
So not applicable, he did live, and that is allowed.
But increased taxes and also the idea of hardship being to the owner or substantial justice being to the owner. So you could certainly ask them for more information on those if you would like to, or you can make a recommendation to deny not having enough, not meeting the requirements.
I don't know, I mean, he, just between us up here, not you guys, I believe the applicant was showing a benefit, not a detriment, and was not showing hardship like, say, my kids are too tall and I need to build a bigger building. Because that was not exactly valid. But to point out, as many other applicants do, that it increases property values implies raised revenue for the town? No? It's not enough. So on the
I don't want to prompt the board to do this as far as what your role is, but I'll only say that you want to be able to legally defend any approval. That if you look at it from the standpoint of what is unique about this lot relative to the request for setbacks, and that should be relative to the fact that there's issues on that lot that may well validate the need to allow those setbacks, whether it's the fact that there's a well radius that bumps it there,
or the adjoining property, the adjoining
Right.
property septic system warranted that theirs had to be moved because of the placement.
I don't want to also prompt an applicant. with
I don't want to
answers
either.
So
That's
I'm
why
just
I'm
saying
speaking
that
loudly.
Maybe the board should ask for a little bit more definition. as
On
to
number 4, you would prefer,
Specifically setbacks.
okay? So, and you're specific to number 4 is the one that you have the,
I don't think so. I think it's number 5.
it's number 5?
What is unique?
4 was the one that you,
In other words, every single person could come in here that owns property in the town of Northwood and say, I want relief from the zoning board because it's going to improve my property. But there has to be something unique about the
Unique about the
property
property.
itself.
Yep.
okay?
And we've asked the applicants in the past to give us more.
What's unique about your
Exactly.
property
What-
that requires
Such as-
you to have this in order to go forward with
Right.
it?
Such, you know, could they answer validly that its placement is where it is because
Well, they
it
can-
cannot go somewhere else, or something like that? Uniquely, it
I
won't,
think they've more or less answered it, but not directly to the question.
okay, all right, so
Statements
we're,
about-
we're, so let's phrase this. I'll give you the 5 questions again. You're going to do a little ad lib.
Okay.
We're on the setback, which specifically relates to the septic system. Okay, so go with me on this. So, septic system improvements are always nice. So granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest because, think septic system.
Yeah. Granting it would not be contrary? I just don't understand, like, the question, to be honest with you. I'm just trying to give you as much information as far as...
Sure, you're doing
like,
fine, you're doing fine. You're just not quite there, I guess, by the standard
Yeah.
of having a legally defendable position. So not yours, but
Right.
like ours for granting this, so.
Right.
So if it's a septic system and it's 500 gallons to 1250, and it's down front there,
Yeah.
because, why is it down front there?
Yeah, well, it's down front that way, because if I was to put it in the back, the state would say, no, I can't put it there because I can't even make the minimum requirements for the state.
Okay, so it's not contrary to public interest.
Right.
See how this works?
Right.
You got it. All right, the next one is,
Placement on the lot.
the use is not contrary to the spirit of the ordinance, which is to have that setback.
Yeah.
It's not contrary to that because,
Because the old well is in the back, the old septic's in the back of the house, and it's seasonal septic, but it's only 500 gallons. So I'm upgrading it to a seasonal, year-use septic. You know what I mean?
okay, that's good.
Yeah, so that's kind of where,
That's good. Let's go to, granting the variance would do substantial justice because you gotta have,
it would bring the house to better livable conditions as far as both seasonal and year-round. I could use it year-round and seasonally if I wanted to, but it would better improve the codes as far as life and safety.
I'll buy that. Number 4, proposed use would not diminish surrounding property values because,
I am improving the house and not devaluing the house.
Well, again, it has to do with setbacks.
yeah, so this
And in the
septic,
sense that typically setbacks
I'm not encroaching
are
on
related
people's
to
properties.
above ground items, where this is a septic.
Yeah.
So there may be something they want to ask relative.
yeah, and kind of like because they're near an environment that we all want to protect, you know, a septic would be,
Most viable than like a holding tank, is that what you're?
would it be good?
Yes, of course, a septic tank would not only increase the property values, but it would be able to make me live, like, let me live there year-round.
Would it be good for the environment?
Yes, it would.
The lake.
It's better made, you know what I mean, than what the holding tank is in the back right now.
Yeah, I think lake is a good word to use.
Yeah.
So whenever we get improved septic systems like that, so good, you're doing great. And meeting the criteria. So now I'm just going to go to number 5, literal enforcement of the provisions of the ordinance. Like, if you had to move this, literal enforcement of the provision of the ordinance would result in an unnecessary hardship because,
If I had to move it,
if you got to move it, why would that be a hardship?
Encroach on existing
Encroachment?
wells.
Encroaching on other people's property?
yeah. And his septic's kind of like in the back too, so.
And his is in the back,
Yeah.
so you can't. So does that meet more of the criteria? You can't answer that. She's not shaking her head and calling me back, so far. All right, we'll continue on to, owing to the special conditions, which are you can't encroach on a neighbor's property and the septic has to be down front because of the other one up back. So that's your special condition. So no fair or substantial relationship exists between the general public purposes of the ordinance and the specific application of that provision to the property because
I put other homes have been converted.
yeah, or you might, in this case, just carry on with the septic
Yeah.
and that it's,
Septic would improve the property itself.
up, yeah, and it can only be there.
Yes, and then that's really the only solution that we could possibly come up with both professionally and by state minimum codes.
All right, and then the proposed use is a reasonable one because,
Because it's a brand-new septic and it's better than the one that's there on our existing property.
can you have a home without one?
I'm sorry, what?
You can't have a home without one.
At a home with it?
You can't have a home without a septic.
Exactly, yes,
So something along those lines.
yeah.
I probably over-prompt, but I would rather give a resident a fair chance at answering these questions because they're ambiguous, they're
Yes.
not phrased clearly, and a lot of times we get blanket answers where the person writes the same thing over and over, and it's like, this doesn't tell me anything, and you made a genuine attempt written, but verbally, yeah, you hit on the button of this special, the septic here.
Okay.
So that's kind of necessary.
Yeah.
So for people, they really have to key into why this.
Okay.
You know, why does it have to be here?
I believe that does get to the question of what is unique about this lot. I mean, that's what I'm always groping
Right.
for in
What
the
is
answers
unique?
that we get from number 5. What is special, what is unique? Because a hardship isn't supposed to be about personal financial interest.
Right.
That's not
Right.
what it's about.
Right.
And I'm still, by the way, curious as to why nobody ever goes with B rather than A as number 5. But that's another
Someday
story.
somebody will.
Yeah.
So, do you want to lead, I'm going to close public comment again, which I tried to do before, but we'll do it again.
Could I actually add something to that, though?
Sure.
I recently received my approval for the state as well.
For the septic?
But yes, but it's that same exact file that I submitted to you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So board deliberations,
Well, I think that the responses have been improved upon. I'm more confident now that the applicant has succeeded in answering number 5 of the 5 criteria. The other 4, I mean, we've been over and over and over
Right,
and over
right.
again, all asking the same question
Right.
in different
They
ways.
really
But number
are.
5 is about the uniqueness of the property.
what makes it special?
and the hardship, and I am satisfied with that now, so.
Okay. They all set? Okay, I'm sorry, I should call me first. The septic system and the proximity to the water is important. It's very important. And, again, I think why they harped on system failure and all that in the past was because of the lake. So anytime you make an improvement to a septic system, again, it's not above ground, it's below ground, and as long as it is up to code and an improvement, because when you think about it, you're going to a 1250 tank, and so many of our existing homes have the smaller tanks that could be redone in hopefully in future years, but I think it's the right thing to do, and I don't see that you have an option to go anywhere but there. Looking at the property and the narrow width of the property, the hill incline there, and what your neighbors have kind of encroached and put you to do.
Right.
So I do see that. Ms. Coburn? Okay. Do we want a motion? You want a motion on this one?
Yeah. I mean, I do.
You let Ted do it, okay.
No, I mean, that's not that I want to do it.
It's usually my thunder.
Well, okay. Make a motion that the zoning board approve the application in case number 21-7 of Euler and Braun, 216 Long Pond Road, for a variance from Article 4B4 structural setbacks.
Do I have a second? Thank you. Any comments? Additional comments? Okay, Mr. Wilkinson, how do you
I
vote?
vote yes.
I, Pam Sanderson, vote yes. Ms. Coburn?
Yes.
Motion passed. Okay, now to seasonal year-round. A variable to Article 7D. We're kind of new to this one, but the expansion of conversion of seasonal dwelling and lot size and frontage. So in order to do this, you're in a situation of doing the road frontage, which is a minimum length specified in Table 4-1 is 150 feet, where the lot has 61 feet. That's the page with the chart. I know that one. The type of frontage, you are on a private road. And lot size, which is a separate, these things fall into Article 4, but you have to meet all the criteria. These are the only two that you need on this, in this case. So lot size, minimum lot size specified in Table 4-1 is 2 acres. This lot has .29 acres. So any opening comments on your, you've mentioned it over and over.
Yeah, well, the lot is a sloped lot, so it's very rocky.
Remember that when I asked the question.
Yeah, okay.
Okay?
Yep.
That's a good one. The lot size, again, these lots were placed years and years ago, and the fact that you have an existing building is kind of giving you a little advantage here in that there's already a footprint there. You're not asking me to rebuild a whole structure. You're asking, just to make it up to code.
Right.
And not changing footprints or anything else. Did you have any comments or questions for the applicant?
Not at this time.
I don't have any other questions. I've asked a bunch, and you have none? Okay, all right. So we're ready to do the testimony. I do have to do it over again on these, and we're going to take them as a blanket, if that's all right with everybody.
So
Take
is
the two.
it the same page?
It's, I only have the one application for variance. I don't see a second one. So you would once again be kind of ad-libbing your answers.
Okay.
Just to meet here, because it can't just be, I don't know, it's improving money and taxes, things like that is not going to work. It's got to be things that are special about the property, and obviously the earlier subdivision and the existing dwelling will have bearing on that. Okay. So granting the variance would not be contrary to public interest because.
I'm just trying to follow along. Okay, so number 1.
Yep, number 1, sorry.
So I'm just like I'm looking at it. It's just like when I read the words, it looks like it's answering its own question for you. You know what I mean?
It does.
Yeah.
But if you could, it's not contrary to public interest. Instead of telling me about other houses, you could mention.
I will note for the record to the board, in case you haven't noticed that already, is that they are not asking to expand the existing structure.
Yes, that's good that there is.
A modest two-bedroom.
Is a modest 2-bedroom. It is on a previous subdivision lot from years ago. It's existed there for a while, probably. What do you think? Yeah. So
Yeah, and it was built on piers.
right.
It was built on piers as well, off of the ground. The association dates back to pre-67, so all the lots have been subdivided.
Previously.
Yes.
Yeah.
So these are existing lots that have been improved in the past.
Okay. I think that would cover it there. The use is not contrary to the spirit of the ordinance because, and in this case, your answer I think here is good.
Yes, the 500-gallon tank won't
And-
meet today's standards.
And carrying on with the CODE. I'm trying not to prompt. Sorry.
I'm bringing it up to
Yes,
to code.
bring it up to code. There you go. That's why I wanted you to jump. He does have that written.
Yeah.
Certainly bring it up to code.
Yeah.
Granting the variance would do substantial justice.
Because my house would be like similar code to other houses in the neighborhood currently. There's more than one house has been converted from seasonal use to year-round use. and it would only improve the property as well as the town itself.
You're getting it.
Yeah.
And I would like to add that his original answer was a very nice answer, though. It was very nice. Number 4, the proposed use would not diminish surrounding property values because,
Once again.
don't read that one.
Yeah, once again, the properties have been converted in the neighborhood, and so it'd be pretty much bringing it up to code to live. And it would meet the surrounding houses code too, it would follow with theirs.
Yep. Literal enforcement of the provision of the ordinance would result in an unnecessary hardship owing to the special conditions of this property that distinguish it from other properties in the area are as follows. So
The rock in the back of the property, the slope, just the normal grade, that normal grade of the property is pretty much very different from each property in the neighborhood and the association.
Okay. And no fair or substantial relationship exists between the general public purposes of the ordinance and the specific application of that provision to the property, because this is tough, because it's a tough question, it really is.
Well, a lot of the properties have been upgraded, and I'd like to be one to upgrade my house as well.
And maybe go back to the original on the septic, that it's there because...
Well, the septic would not only improve the property, but it improve just the general, like the lake, the road, it would look nicer, it'd be more appealing to the neighbors.
Sure. And the proposed use is a reasonable one because...
Because I would be able to use it, and the state and the town would be happy, I guess, if it was, brought up to code, rather than just sitting there.
I think that's a good answer, brought up to code. All right, any other questions?
No, since it's already answered, I'll wait until after the vote.
No, go ahead and, you're killing me with these cliffhangers.
On text number B there, but that's a wait till later.
So, like, he could have used B?
B would have,
Would have been a perfect B?
because he couldn't, my understanding is he couldn't convert it to year-round and put the septic where it needs to go without this,
Without this, yeah.
so there would be a B. But he chose to answer A, and he gave you an answer, Sue.
We just have too much fun. I'm just surprised more people don't join us.
I know. I wish they would.
All right, so I'm closing public comment unless anybody had anything further for the applicants. Board deliberations. Ted, would you like to start?
Well, I'm satisfied with the eventual answer to number 5, specifically in the context of what's unique about that particular lot in the general context of hardship. And as I understand it, the only place that the septic can go, the leach field can go now, is out in front. It cannot be put up behind. That seems to be something that's specific to the lot. The DES has said this is the way it is. No, you can't do it back there. So my personal quest for finding something unique about this parcel has been satisfied. I like it.
Me too. I'm satisfied that this lot, frankly, it is what it is. So once again, something with an existing dwelling upon it is a little easier because it's there. I think what's good here is seeing the 75-foot well radiuses of both yourself and your neighbor, which puts this smack dab where it is. It has to be there because it can be no other place. Unless, and there's no way you're going to squeak it in at the top of the hill. That would just be a silly place to put a septic system, because then it would be pumped up the whole bit. To me, it's necessary, and the road frontage is in keeping with the other lots that were from that, what did we say, 1967 development? So that would be my point here. Ms. Coburn? Okay.
Well, Madam Chair, I'd make a motion that the zoning board approve the variance from Article 7D, expansion and conversion of seasonal dwelling unit with, for lot size and frontage. Questions have been asked and answered. And that's the extent of my
You got to permits, permission.
Well, yeah, provided that all other required federal, state, and local permits are in hand.
Copy paste. Thank you. All right, do I have a second?
Second.
You guys are active tonight. I'm like, it's a cakewalk.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Wilkinson, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I, Pam Sanderson, will vote yes.
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries. So you have your variance. We will see you again for the 674-41. Are we able to fit that in on the 8th?
Susan says yes.
Yes?
Yeah, we can do it.
We got the time? So the paperwork is in already, am I correct? You just have to notify?
Do a notice in the paper and send the abutters.
Notice in the paper, and we have time to send letters to the abutter. Is November 8th suitable to you? That's a Monday?
Yes, it is. Now, I can just show up myself, right? I don't have to bring Bob here or my installer?
I think you've handled this well.
Okay.
You should be proud. You did a
Throwing
good
me out
job.
already?
Well, I would think that if all goes well, we just move in there, we know what we use over the
Yeah, look at how fun we are. All right, so November 8th. You're going to be like third on the agenda. I think we've got Andrews and we've got Pinard, which you've already heard, and we're partway through.
Okay.
So you would be third, and 674-41. The only thing for information you might need to bring is maybe a letter saying you're paid or you're in on the association.
Okay.
The association letter's terrific. And
Yeah, I have. He just sent me the email that the treasurer sent.
yeah, that would do.
Okay.
That would do to show the board that you are up to date or that you are an active
You want
member.
to see that now, because I just brought it to him?
We probably, do we each want copy? We'll need a copy at least for the town, because that goes.
I could just get multiple copies and for each of you.
Yeah, when you
and
come
then-
on the 8th, you can
Right.
bring and say,
And
look,
then
I
if
prove I'm
nobody
paid
shows
up.
up, that's pretty much, I'll be all set, right?
Yeah, you
Okay.
would need, you'd need nothing.
vote, we have to hear everything.
We have to hear everything, and we have to look at that.
Can't say anything ahead of time.
Right.
Right.
If you pass, then yes.
Okay.
Building permits, you've already gone through for codes or inspections or whatever. That's not in our purview.
No, so yeah, I've already submitted a building permit and I've been working on the house for a year.
Right, and you have separate septic approval already, so.
Yeah, so I have the state septic approval.
They've already been renovating, it's just
Yeah,
in order to convert it, you have to.
sure, had to go
Yeah.
through this.
So, like I said, the septic was the last thing I was really dealing with as far as variances and being okay with that, with the town.
Okay, all right. So, that's all we need. The 8th was good, he said. We've got Andrews and Pinard. The only other date, the other day is the 20th, the other 20th, the 22nd, well, the 22nd is a 674-41 also, isn't it? Or something that was Jobin?
Yeah, but he's already been continued to that night.
Right, but should be a quick or?
Right, but I'm saying theirs is gonna be quick.
Yeah, we can do these guys first.
We could do these guys first.
Sure.
Anybody have, Betsy, what do you think? Do them first?
Absolutely.
Okay, so Susan, put them,
And that way they don't
top
have
of
to
the
sit
class,
through everything.
put
like
them
they did
first on the
tonight.
agenda for the 8th, please. It's cool being in the chairman's chair. So that is it for you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Linda's
See
gonna
you on
make
the
us-
8th.
I have your
something?
copy here.
And if you want to send it to me, I can just. Oh,
that
but
was
that
his.
other paper, you can just, you can email it. Take a picture with your phone or scan it or something.
Or just forward it if you
Oh,
can,
you
yeah.
have it? Oh, okay, yeah, whatever, just email it to me, and then we'll have it to sign.
Okay, because continued first to 11/8. That was fun.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Hi.
Have a good
And
night.
Good luck with the home.
What was that?
Good luck with the home.
Thank you.
Yeah.
A little bit at a time. That's why I keep telling everybody.
Yeah. It is a lot of work. It's a lifelong commitment. Oh my
It is,
God.
but I love Northwood, so I want to stay here. So
That's
you know,
terrific.
I'm tired of the city. I like the area,
Good.
so I think it's worth fighting for.
Thank you so much, and thank you for putting on the mask and stuff. We appreciate it. Thank you. You got paperwork for us? This rules and ordinances, you gonna make us do that tonight?
No, we were
Good.
going to just do the thing about the 72 hours. But then I opened it up and I saw some other things that probably should be changed.
Okay.
I made some suggestions, titles need to be changed, process, this what, the procedures? I'm sorry, but yeah.
It's a couple of pages
You
there.
have a copy of that. Procedures for this?
For the zoning board.
How come you didn't get those two papers? I gave them to you. I thought I did.
Maybe she did, I think she got the full packet. You gonna leave this here?
I
so
am.
Linda can
Yes,
put
I'm going to
these
leave that
out?
there. It's a good idea.
I have my own.
Yeah, I have my own too, but I don't have a fancy color printer, so I don't.
You want me to, I can print it all out one with color. It's a lot easier. And mail it out.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
And what I would suggest is you look at it, scratch on it, see if you have other thoughts. you
Sure.
want to change on it.
And you said just now that you realized there was something else you wanted to change, or?
Yeah, well, there's
Couple of
other
things.
changes I'm suggesting on here.
Oh, okay.
For your consideration.
All right.
And then,
You just want your name changed on everything, and you know, we're only gonna change it to something else in the
I
future.
like to, I could change it back, I'd be perfectly happy. Whatever. But there's certain things, like the chairman always reads the, case number and the name.
Right.
This goes back to years ago when the board secretary was the title. The secretary would read the case. But we haven't done that in years. And Susan and I would prefer not to do that, right? Susan,
We
come
got you
on.
covered.
Look,
You're not doing nothing, you can read all that.
So, it's just getting.
Can we get that typo fixed in the application?
Yeah, I never noticed.
The exit there,
Yeah, the exit.
the exit. Page 2 of the questions. It says
Is it
exit.
on the actual, just the standard variance application?
It's on the standard variance application.
That was
It's amongst the
to make
questions and
sure you
answers.
were
Exit.
looking.
Yeah, exit. So it says exit, when you're reading, it's like, no, it's exist.
Yeah.
So one of the applicants had done the correction on it, which made me chuckle.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. They corrected it to exist. All right, so any other business coming before the board? So,
Second.
I commend you. First motion, this is awesome. How do you vote?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.